Hello, welcome to VMC. I'm Dr. M. Today we are going to cover some of the most common issues that we'll see come into GP vet clinics and emergency clinics. So we'll cover what you should do to keep your pets as safe as possible. Join me, you'll learn something. One of the most common issues that we will see around any holidays is pets who are given foods that they're not used to eating. Often this is foods that humans are cooking for themselves. The dog and cat GI tract just doesn't handle changes in food very well. So we will see a lot of vomiting and diarrhea, which can cause dehydration and other issues. We will also see issues with things like bones being given. Those can cause obstructions and perforations in the GI tract that can even be fatal. Another huge problem is feeding foods that are high in fat, especially for dogs. Those often can cause pancreatitis. Pancreatitis is exceptionally painful, it can be tough to treat, and in severe cases can also be fatal. And so it's very, very important that we aren't giving in to those adorable eyes and feeding our pets people foods. In order to be more successful in not giving our pets some of what we're eating or having guests sneak them food, even if they've been told not to, it can be very helpful to have your pet set up in their own room away from the table where everybody's eating at, so that they're just not even around to be able to have that food. And that will also prevent the pet from doing any begging behavior, which can be tough for people to resist. We also have to remember that there are a lot of toxicities, things like chocolate, onions, garlic. The list is extensive, but those are some of the really common ones. We need to prevent our pets from getting into those sorts of things that are toxic for them. And the last thing we really need to remember is that if we are feeding our pets more than 10% of their daily caloric intake with food items that are not WSAVA compliant formulas, then we're actually unbalancing their diet, which is harmful for them. So if you are going to insist on giving your pets something, you could consider a small amount of turkey meat that has been cooked, or a small amount of potato that doesn't have the butter and the milk and everything in it, as those things are fatty, and lactose can cause our cats and dogs a lot of GI upset. It's best, if you are going to do something, to do like a tiny amount and have it be something that is bland in order to minimize the likelihood of it causing problems. The second item on my list, animals that have gotten into decorations or plants that are very harmful for them. A very classic example are lilies. Lilies are exceptionally toxic to cats. One lick of them, one bite into them, even if they don't swallow anything, can cause immense harm to the cat kidneys and can result in them dying. If you have cats in your household, do not bring lilies into your house. Period. There is no exception here. Just do not do it. It is not worthwhile. You should be growing cat grass for your cats, that they have that to munch on. And if you are going to bring plants into your household, make absolutely certain to check that they are non-toxic for the pets that you have in your household before you even bring them in the front door. I also will often see issues where pets have tried to ingest tinsel. This causes a horrific foreign body. The tinsel will get caught somewhere, and as the GI tract contracts, it will end up scrunching up around the tinsel, and this can cause immense harm to the GI tract. Another common problem will be pets getting into electrical cords. They can get very badly shocked from this, and as their bodies are much smaller than ours, this shock can cause immense harm to their heart. They can also get exceptionally bad burns in the mouth as they're chewing, and the swelling that happens after that can make it very hard for them to breathe or eat or drink, which can of course be life-threatening as well. So be very careful that if you are going to do something like set up a Christmas tree, ideally you will put that tree in a spot that's not accessible to your animals. So using things like baby gates around a Christmas tree can be very helpful. Some people will put the Christmas tree in a separate room that can be closed off whenever people aren't there to directly watch. You just need to be mindful that this is a new thing coming into their space, and we have to be very, very proactive in preventing them from harming themselves with the tree. Third, There are so many dangerous toys, dangerous treats, dangerous pet gifts that go around this time of year. I see it all the time, and I'm usually gifted some that I end up throwing away each year because they're just not safe for pets. One of the rules to keep in mind is that you need to be able to indent any chewing object with your fingernail, and when you smack it on your knee, it shouldn't hurt. If it passes both of those tests, it's likely safe for them to chew on and is less likely to cause teeth breakage. I also see a lot of toys that will have a lot of ribbons or dangly bits that animals will chew off and swallow. That's also exceptionally dangerous. And shockingly, there will be pet treats that are made with unsafe ingredients. So be incredibly vigilant. If you're ever doubtful about something, just don't give it to your pets. For all of the things that I've already talked about, if your pet ever gets into something that's not safe, I've already done a video on what you should do in that scenario. I will link it for you in the doobly-doo, and I'll put the link up here as well. Just in case the worst should happen, you do need to be aware of where your closest emergency clinic is, and you also need to budget for if your pet has an accident or an illness. Unfortunately, in vet clinics around this time of year, we do way more euthanasias than any other time of year. And the reason for that appears to be multifactorial, but a big part of it is that people overspend on Christmas things and they do not keep a fund for if something happens to their pet. And then when their pet does ingest something it shouldn't, or it slips in the cold weather and has an accident, or something happens, they have no budget with which to pay for the veterinary care that their pet needs. Do not let this happen to you. Make sure that you know where you can get veterinary care and that you have a budget for it should the worst happen. The fourth item I'll cover is that unfortunately, especially around New Year's, there are often fireworks. A lot of our pets feel a lot of fear with fireworks, so if that is the case with your pet, you need to contact your veterinary clinic now about medication for that. I've already done a video on this as well. I'll link it in the video description for you so that you know how you can set up your household to reduce the stimulation your pet receives from the fireworks, which can help to reduce their stress. It talks about how you can work on counter conditioning and desensitization. It also covers the common medications that are used for situational stress. The fifth and final thing I'll cover today is that all the changes in schedule around the holidays can be exceptionally stressful for our pets, especially for our cats, but for our dogs as well. They don't know what's happening. They don't understand why everything's changed, and having guests over, having a change in schedule, if you're gone more often, all of these things can cause a lot of stress to our pets. So you need to be thinking about that. Do you need to have a house sitter living in your house? If you're going to be gone for like 6 hours, do you just need someone to come by to walk your pet? And if you are going to be having people over, it's very important that you critically think about what your pet would appreciate in that scenario. A lot of cats are simply going to be happiest set up in a room with everything they need. Play Relax My Cat off of YouTube to cover some of the extra noise in your household that they're not used to. This way people won't be trying to force themselves on your cat. This way your cat won't feel like they have to hide. This way they can have a better, more relaxed environment to be in when the household is busy. And this may also go for your dog. If they get overtired, they might need some times just set away with some food puzzles to work on, relaxing music playing so that they can take a nap. Often also a lot of people interact with dogs very poorly, and cats. They can be annoying to the pet. They can pet them in an awful manner. They can be too rough with them. They can be too loud around them. Young kids just simply don't have the ability to properly interact with your pets, and giving your pets a safe space away from people like that is going to be safest for your pet and for the people. There are also going to be cases where if your pet is painful or too tired, If they are touched in a really rough way, or if someone is irritating them, they may snap because they've just had enough. And so you need to prevent that from occurring and not put your pets into a place where they feel that they are trapped and need to defend themselves. You cannot neglect their needs just because your schedule has changed, and meeting their needs first will help them to do a better job when your schedule change occurs. The goal here is to keep everybody as safe and as low stress as possible. And especially when there are a number of people around, it's not easy to properly supervise interactions between humans and pets. That supervision requires your full attention and you can't be doing anything else. So if you are needing to do something like eat or cook or chat with somebody, then your pet just needs to be put into a space where they are safe so that your attention can go to another matter. I know that it's a little bit before Christmas and New Year's are actually here. However, now is the time where you need to start thinking about and planning. I do put out a new video most Fridays, so I look forward to seeing you next week. You take care, and bye!